Hello, my name's Cameron Asgarzadigan and you're watching another television review on Cam's Camera Talk. Today the show is Gotham, Season 2, Episode 4. Spoilers ahead. So the show starts out with Penguin and he's sort of sat with his thugs surrounding him and he shoots off this shotgun to get their attention and he's sort of threatening. The thing that I did like about this episode was it gave Penguin purpose. I said last week that Penguin's just sort of there and he's not really had much of a story or involvement in the season so far. But in this episode we really do get to see the Penguin in sort of full throttle again as a villain, which I was happy about because I do like the character. He is the big crime lord, but it shows that even he now isn't the strongest man in Gotham. Theo Galavan is. Because his mother was kidnapped and he was being forced to do things against his will by Theo Galavan. So what I think is going to happen is it's sort of going to be a full-fledged war between the police and Penguin. That's what's hinted at the end. Theo Galavan even makes a claim saying that while they're going to be fighting with each other, the police and Penguin, I'm going to rise to become mayor. So that's obviously his grand plan. The GCPD has a new commissioner in Nathaniel Barnes, who's played by Michael Chilkis, and he's probably best known to sort of geeks as Ben Grimm from the original Fantastic Four films, you know, the ones with Chris Evans and Jessica Alba. But he was quite good, you know, he's a very good actor. It's always a good thing to recruit talent to your shows. You've got James Frayne, who's a good actor, and Michael Chilkis is a good actor as well. So Nathaniel Barnes is taking control. He comes in, the first thing he does is he sacks a lot of police officers because he's saying that they're corrupt. So you know, he clearly wants to make a change to Gotham. Problem with the character is not necessarily a problem, but every time he came on screen it just felt like he was giving a teaching moment. There was no real point where we saw any kind of character development from him. It was just him being a stern, tough guy. I am interested to see where the character plays out in the future, because in this episode, I'm not gonna lie, his scenes I felt dragged on a little bit. But I'm excited to see where they go with the character. I'm excited to see what they do with it. I'm excited to see this sort of war between the police and Penguin. Theo Galavan's in this episode again, and he now has taken sort of the front seat in my enjoyment of the show. I think he's a really good actor as James Frayne. What he's doing with his character is very good. It's a very slick character. It's one of those characters which you sort of love to hear, and he's playing it very well. There's some issues I have in the fact that I said this in the last episode when he was sort of giving that television speech to Jerome. He does the same thing again in this one. When James Frayne acting as Theo Galavan is excellent. Doesn't put a foot wrong. Theo Galavan acting in an episode is very obvious. So he gives a speech when he's being given the Medal of Valor, and although we've seen a lot of the character and seen what he's actually like opposed to the rest of the people watching him, it still seems fake. It seems like what he's saying is fake, and my issue with that is that, you know, even though he was saying he's acting, you know, he's playing this other side of Theo Galavan, you know, just for the public. Many people do that and they don't feel the need to sort of do this kind of overacting thing. You look at political figures, they go up there, give speeches, and you know, you believe what they're saying is true. Whether it is true is another matter, it rarely is, but still. And just when he's talking, when he's giving these speeches to public, it just feels fake. As I touched on earlier, he uses Penguin, and Penguin is the big guy. So with Fish Mooney, Sal Maroni, Falcone out the picture, Penguin is now the man at the top of sort of the crime, you know, leadership. And Theo Galavan just uses him like that. No problems with it, just kidnaps his mum, says you're going to do this or I'm going to kill her. I think at the end of the episode he does actually kill her. I'm not sure what that meant. I don't know whether Butch put his hand on his shoulder to say she's dead, or put his hand on his shoulder to say we couldn't find her. I'm pretty sure it was the first one. I think she is dead. But yeah, this shows the power that Theo Galavan actually has, that he can control Penguin, and it sort of shows that when he becomes the mayor, which he will do, he'll have the side of Gotham, so the police and everything like that, but also he's got, you know, Penguin under his thumb pretty much. He's controlling things now. There was something in this episode which makes me think this is what they're going for. It was when Theo Galavan was having his meeting with Bruce in the sort of the restaurant, and he mentions Bruce's parents. He says something like, they should have really found the killer by now. As soon as he said that, in my head I went, it's him. He's the guy who's killed Bruce's parents. And I think that's where they might be going with that. Because you looked at all the candidates from season 1 that it could have been, and no one really fits the role. But if you looked at the killer, he was sort of this swanky dressed guy, very dapper, you don't see his face, good with a gun, who can blend into the shadows. And Theo Galavan came from the shadows, so right now he's my top pick for actually killing Bruce's parents. Also, another thing with the Bruce scene is that Theo Galavan doesn't seem to have a problem with his family members being used sexually, really. His sister, I mean, he often watches her sort of get with Barbara Keane, and in this episode he pimps out his niece pretty much to Bruce, you know, to get him on her side. He uses his niece. So, you know, that is a little bit weird, but it just shows to what length he's willing to go to take control of Gotham. There was a scene in this between James Gordon and Nathaniel Barnes where they were picking out cadets to sort of start this strike force team out. For me, you could have cut that entire scene. I don't know where they're going with this strike force thing. It could pay off in the end. They might have a bigger story for them. But at the minute, I felt that was useless and boring and pointless. I don't know why they were there. I mean, they tried to take out one man. Victor Zsasz, you know, he had 2 guns. They had a full strike force team. So they had, you know, the bulletproof vests on. They had machine guns. Yet they couldn't take him out. So they're not that impressive. But the scene itself seemed to drag on a little bit. I saw glimpses of season 1 in there. Just with the dialogue, it was cheesy. So for me, you could have simply just taken that whole story out. Alfred has a discussion with Kat and he bitch slaps her and basically tells her to never go near Bruce Wayne again. It was literally out of nowhere, and to be honest, it made me laugh more than it struck me to the core. I liked the Riddler story in this episode. I felt it was really good. It showed dimensions to his character. I'm enjoying the character of Riddler now. Also, there was that just nice little Easter egg sort of in the back of his apartment. The lighting was green, you know, outside of his window. That's a nice shout to the Riddler there. But at the same time, I am hoping that they sort of hurry up to getting the Riddler. You know, I don't want them to drag this thing out too long. I think where they're going to go with the Kringle thing is, I think he's going to actually kill her. Whether it's accidental or on purpose, I'm not sure. Either way, I think she's going to die. But the Riddler, I want to see him go full Riddler sometime soon, because I think the show needs it more than anything. There was a couple moments of acrobatics in this episode. So you had Kat jumping off the wall, and you had Zsasz flipping on a table. Both were unnecessary, and both looked really fake. It's a little thing, but if you're not going to do something properly, just don't do it at all. There was no need for it. It didn't have to be in there, and it kind of took me out of the show for a minute, because I was like, that's fake. They've used camera angles to try and make that look cool, but it doesn't look cool. It just looks like the actor couldn't do it. So this is the first episode without Jerome, and how was the show coped so far? I think it's done okay. I thought the show was going to plummet back to where season 1 went. But it hasn't done. It's sort of kept this you know, sort of mood and tone going a little bit, and it's, you know, it's kept my interest. But at the same time, from scene to scene, you know, it kept going, and there was nothing which really made me get excited. There was nothing which I was excited to see. In the prior episodes, you know, I was looking forward to the next Joker scene. You know, I was looking forward to how he was going to get involved in the story which was going on. In this, there's not really much. Another problem I have with the show is that they've spent a lot of time exploring the character of Penguin. They've spent a lot of time exploring the character of Theo Galavan, and rightly so, and these two characters, they're really good. But they've not spent much time developing sort of James Gordon and the protagonists on the show. We've got a lot of exploring the antagonist, but not much exploring the protagonist. The problem with that is I'm now more excited and enjoying the scenes with the villains more than I am the good guys. So what I think the show needs to do is, you know, take James Gordon, take Harvey Bullock and Nathaniel Barnes, and just polish their characters a little bit, make their story a little bit more exciting. Anyway, that's it for me today. If you've liked what I've brought for you, feel free to like, comment and subscribe. Also follow me on Twitter at CamsCameraTalk. There's a link in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you later. Killing this role, he's doing absolutely fantastic, and then he gets killed off.